So in a different world, there's a different way. Every soul sings, every heart sways. In a different world, the happiness would last and not tied in the chains of the fleeting past. In that world, together we would be bonded in love, completely free. And I invite you today to move to the different world. So in the last 10 years of my career as a happiness coach, as a sales and leadership trainer, as a communications specialist, having interacted with, I've had this lovely opportunity to interact, to communicate, to engage with some of the best minds of the country and in the world. I have exchanged ideas with some of the top leaders in the world, to the breadwinners, to the survivors, to the students with exceptional skills, to the students who are struggling. And having observed all of these people, I have realized one major reason that causes unhappiness and demotivation in people. Do you want to know what that reason is? It's lack of control. When they feel that we are not in control of our mind, of our body, of our circumstances, of my life, of my future, that creates a trigger of hormones which causes us to be unhappy and to be demotivated. Now, as a happiness coach, I get this question all the time. Are you going to make us happy? How many of you have this question for me today? Yeah? Okay. So the answer to that question is no. I am not going to make you happy because I can't make you happy. And never believe anybody who says that they can. Not even your spouse, sir. Because the only person who can ever make you happy or miserable is you yourself. However, what I will do today is to help you with an analogy which can help you regain the control of your life back in your hands, which will eventually make you more productive, more driven, more energetic, more successful, help you with your overall well-being and also your longevity. Would you want to know that? All right. So I have a question for you all. What do you think this is? Say it louder. It's a remote. Okay. And what does a remote do? Controls the TV. I can switch to whatever channel that I want to see, right? I can switch to a music channel, a movie channel, a happy channel, a sad channel, aka the news channel nowadays. So the question that I have for you all today is, who controls your remote? Now, human beings are very much like TVs, and we all have our remote control. And the channels are our behaviors, our feelings, our emotions, our sentiments. The unfortunate part is we have given the remote of our lives into the hands of a lot of people. It can be your boss, it can be your colleague, it can be your friends, it can be your parents, your siblings. Sometimes we give remote to strangers. And then what does it do? It gives them the power to switch the channel that they want to see on you. One day, a customer walks in, or in your case, a teacher walks in and says something not very nice to you. Now, you are agitated, you are stressed, you are worried for the rest of the day, for the rest of the week. One day, a dear one, a loved one comes and says something not very nice to you, something hurtful maybe. Now, you are anxious, sad, maybe depressed, disheartened for a week, for a month, maybe for a year. I know people who are still angry about something someone said to them 5 years back. Now, do you think it is fair for us to feel not what we want to feel, but what someone else wants you to feel? Is it fair? Yes or no? No. So if the answer to that question is no, then you know what to do next. Take back the control of your life in your hands. Take back the remote in your hands. You have the right to feel what you want to feel and not what someone else wants you to feel. Okay? Let me show you some stats from the World Happiness Index. It looks more of the World Unhappiness Index, to be honest. So this is 79% of the people globally are unhappy at work. Can you believe that? 80% of the people in the world are unhappy at work because they are not able to find meaning in the work that they do. 41% of the people globally suffer and experience stress and anxiety on a regular basis. Now, if I talk to you in terms of psychologically and physically, the amount of stress hormones in our brain causes us to lose our health spans, our lifespans. It creates a lot of problems, right from smallest one to the BP to the largest one like cancers. And I was rather surprised by this. 2.8 billion searches on Google on work-life balance in 2024 alone. Imagine the kind of struggle that we are all facing. Now, why do you think there is so much of disparity in terms of happiness, in terms of unfulfillment? How many of us have heard of the saying, think positive and everything is going to be all right? Yes. Now, do you agree with that? Now, what is innately the problem with positive thinking? Tell me. The problem with positive thinking is human beings, human brains are not wired to seek happiness. Human minds are wired for survival. Right from the times when we were cavemen and hunters, the primary job of the brain was to keep you alive, to help you survive. That is the reason we have developed a negative bias. Now, I'll give you an example. What do you see in here? There are 100 white balls and there's one black ball. Where is your attention directed to? The black ball. Hence proved. Our brain has a negative bias. Now, once our brain is not meant to seek happiness, it's meant for survival only, though the times now have changed. We have evolved. Our DNA still remains the same. That means we have to work harder to change our mindset from survival to happiness. Because happiness, positive thoughts does not naturally come to us. We have to train our brain. We have to rewire our brain to be able to be happy. Now, why do I want to get into the happy zone? Why can't I be in survival zone? Why? Because the happy people by the research, by the science, are 13%, 13% more driven, more productive, they are smarter, they are faster, and they are more successful than their counterparts. It is proven it's not success which brings happiness, it's the happiness which brings success. Now we know happiness is needed. Do you want happiness? And we also know positive thinking does not work. Now what do we do? I have a solution. It's not about positive thinking, it's about positive actions. Let's put this theory to test, shall we? Okay, I want all of you to close your eyes for 10 seconds. Everybody close your eyes for 10 seconds and not think of anything. Blank mind. You may now open your eyes. Were you able to do that? No. Oh God, you to fail ho gaya. Now, let's try another scenario. I want all of you to raise your hands up with me and clap 3 times. Could you do that? What does it prove? Thinking does not come easy to us, but actions are in control of us. And anything which is in control of us, which I taught you earlier, is going to make you feel more empowered. So now that it's about positive actions we have understood, I am now going to share with you today 3 positive happiness actions that you can do starting from today, which will level up your happiness, your well-being, your productivity, and everything that is associated with it. Would you like to know? Okay. Number 1 is doing something pleasurable. It is also called the sensory enjoyment. We have 5 senses. We all know that. Whenever our senses feel pleased, we release a chemical known as dopamine. You must have heard of it. It is the hormone which is responsible for all the excitement, the energy, the motivation. You go to a new cafe, you release dopamine, you meet a new friend, you buy a new bag, you buy a new car. All of that releases dopamine. Now, the interesting part about dopamine is, as soon as the activity is finished, the dopamine level drops. As soon as you finish your ice cream, the dopamine level will drop. You might even feel guilty. That is the way that you can identify if it is dopamine. Now, the tricky part about dopamine is we have to do more to get more every single time. You might have heard of pleasure addiction and dopamine addictions. What are these? For example, if I bought my first car, which was Maruti, and I release a certain amount of dopamine. The second time when I buy a car, if I buy the same Maruti, will I get the dopamine? I will not get the dopamine. That is the addictive quality of dopamine. This time I have to buy a bigger car. And so, to release the same amount of hormone, I will have to continue to work harder and harder and harder and harder. And it becomes a vicious cycle. Right? And we all have been there. Today, it's the time that you identify which zone are you in. Are you in the pleasure zone? Or we are going to move forward. And also, it, as I told you, it does not create a lasting memory in your mind. We move to the number 2 happiness action that you can do in order to make yourself happy. The number 2 is doing something together. Now, what does this mean? Right from the time when we were hunters and cavemen, we were social animals. In the evening, we would all gather around the fireplace and share stories of what happened through the day. Right? It is still prevalent. We human beings, when we connect with people, when we are in a relationship, when we connect with somebody physically, mentally, emotionally, intellectually, spiritually. All of these releases oxytocin, the second wellness hormone in our brain. That's why you feel so good when you go on a get-together with friends, when you go on a party, when you go on a trip with people whom you like, you feel great. It's because the release of oxytocin. Now, the good part about oxytocin is it helps you bond with people, it helps you connect with people. The unfortunate part about oxytocin is it lasts longer than dopamine, but again it does not last forever. You need constant doses of oxytocin. So now we have established that dopamine, which is pleasure, and number 2, connection with people, both of them does not give us lasting happiness. Yes? So what actually gives us lasting happiness? Doing something meaningful. Now what does it mean? When I do something wherein I contribute towards society, towards community, when I give, the psychology of giving says you feel more happiness when you give rather than when you take. That's a proven science. And when you do that, serotonin, the hero of all the 3 components, is released. And it creates new neural pathways in our brain which helps us to last that memory for a very long time. Okay, how many of us sitting here can sleep without a break for 8 hours? Without no disturbance at all. That means you have high levels of serotonin. Serotonin is directly connected with the release of melatonin, which helps you to have a sound sleep. All the depressed people in the world, the research says they have low levels of serotonin, not low levels of dopamine and oxytocin. They have low levels of serotonin. So that is your answer to lasting happiness. There are 3 levels of happiness and you have to find out which level you are at and where would you like to reach. Would you want me to tell you a quick story? So a friend of mine who is a leader in a very big Fortune 500 company, I was discussing this happiness pleasure with him and he told me, in the industry that I am in the work timings that I am in, it's very difficult for me to achieve all the 3 levels of happiness. Can you help me with that? I said, okay. So I asked him to do a trip alone. So the first time, he always wanted to do a wildlife tour. So he goes on a wildlife tour and he comes back and tells me, I've had a great time. There was so much of release of dopamine. I saw new things. I met new people. I felt so excited and regenerated. Now I'm better focused at my work. I'm more productive. The second time I tell him, this time try going with your wife or maybe people whom you love. So this time he does the trip with his wife and 2 of his friends. And when he comes back, I ask him, how was the experience? And he tells me, this time it was such a steep jump from the first one. I felt so much more bonded, so much connected. We shared stories, we played activities, we played games. I was immensely enjoying myself thoroughly. That means this time dopamine and oxytocin both were released. Now he tells me, I don't think there's anything more that I can do. I absolutely feel happy. And then I tell him, wait until you do the third one. And this time I tell him, empathize if you can. And when he goes to the same place with his family, with his friends, and he comes back not after 3 days but after 7 long days. And I asked him, what made you stay so long? And he said, this time when we went, we actually communicated with the local villagers and there was a newborn baby and we found that he was suffering from jaundice. So me and my friends, we arranged help and we felt so good in doing that that we stayed for a few days more there and we interacted with the people of the community. And we understood that there were a lot of healthcare challenges there. And we finally decided and enabled them to have a weekly healthcare camps and also help to upgrade their hospitals. And now when that happens, some of the villagers walked up to him and looked at him with so much of kindness and compassion, and they held him and hugged him, and he said, I never felt so fulfilled all my life. I couldn't help but shed a tear. Now that's the memory he will remember for the rest of his life. Right? So in this scenario, dopamine, oxytocin and serotonin, all the three were released, and that's the secret to lasting happiness. My question to you is, which happiness level do you operate from, and where would you like to go? Because in a different world, kindness is the norm, woven in every culture, every form. In that world, no one competes. In every heart, compassion meets in a different world. And I hope to see all of you in the different world. Thank you.